Hey guys, I'm Tim Olson, and this is Random Sauce, the podcast where we simply think of things and we say them. Before we get into today's topic, I just want to let everyone know that you can head on over to randomsauce.net, where you can have access to all our past and future episodes for free. I know, that's unbelievable and unheard of and unprecedented. Precedent. Anyway, randomsauce.net. Just do it, guys. It makes sense. Today's topic, Dan and I talk about teamwork.
Even.
Do you like to see that or no?
I don't care. There we go. You don't have good posture, Tim. I mean, you kind of do. I guess I didn't give you a choice.
I didn't know I was supposed to have good posture. I will say I don't have good posture.
Ever?
No, I do when I realize I don't have good
Oh,
posture.
okay, then you sit up for like 5 seconds.
Yep, and then you slowly start
You go,
slouching down
okay.
and it's not working.
Yeah, I'll figure that I'm slouching at my computer,
Yes.
and then I'll go, oh, shit, I should probably
Sit up. And then
And then I go, wait, why am I doing? And then I just slouch
you
again.
slowly start slouching back down again. That's the way I was last evening. I went to go see Alex Bueno, who is the DP for all the Saturday Night Live digital shorts.
Very cool.
And it was very informative, talking about the kind of digital filmmaking revolution that's going on and how, we kind of have touched on this before on how it's kind of becoming affordable for a lot of people now. And it's becoming something that you can do. Now, there were a couple things that he said that I'd like to discuss. Just get your opinion on and just have I've heard his and I didn't really care much for it, but no, I'm kidding. He was great. He was fantastic. But yeah, so I guess he mentioned that filmmaking is something. Yes, you can go out and do the one-man band kind of thing, but really it's something that's a team effort and it takes a team to make it happen. And there's if you want to make it look good, if you want it to be something that is a proper representation of your idea, it takes a team to make that happen.
Oh, that's absolutely true. I mean, anytime you look at any good production, whether it's big or small, you can know that one person didn't do all that. If you look at the background and you say that's lit really well, that means they had a really good electrical team. That means they had a lot of really good grips on set.
Yeah, definitely.
If it sounds good, they had a good audio guy.
And
If it looks good, they had a good DP.
a lot of those jobs, if it turns out well, you shouldn't even be able to notice it.
Right. Yeah, I was talking to a guy last night, another audio guy, and I was saying how unfortunate it is that our main task for our job is to make sure that no one knows that we were there. Because
Right.
if someone notices audio, that means that we didn't do our job. It should just be like a second thing, like that it's just there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alex was talking about when he's shooting for SNL, all the digital shorts. He's on set, and maybe he's got a shot of someone driving in a car. He'll get in the car, and he'll just suddenly see like a mic placement inside the car, and he'll be really impressed by it. 'Cause he's like, when did they get there? How who put that there? How or he'll turn around on set, and there'll be a guy with the boom mic there, and he'll be like, when did you get there? How did
Yep.
if you're good audio. If you're a good audio person, you should never be noticed. You should be able to slip right in,
Right.
get the job done, and slip right out.
Right.
That sounded a little sensual there.
Well,
Slipping in and slipping out.
part of our job.
It is
But, I mean,
part of all of our
there's
jobs.
a lot of stuff that I think audio people get a bad rap for having to go in and be out silently, that when we actually do have something to say, that people have an issue with it. Like if there's like a plane going overhead and like, hey, by the way, anything we were getting right now, it's going to suck major balls because there's a problem. And then they're like, what? Why did you ruin a perfectly good take? Well, mostly because it wasn't a perfectly good take. And I figured I'd let you know that.
Yeah, and the other thing that was mentioned was that when you watch a movie or any video for that matter, and the audio is not good, but the video is amazing, it doesn't matter. It's going to take you out of it. Bad audio will take you out of it. Whereas in the reverse of that, if you have okay looking video, it was shot on a flip phone or a flip cam, if you still have one of those, but your audio is incredible, no one will care.
Well,
it will suffice and it will go through people's minds as a story being told. Whereas bad audio will take you out of it in a second.
Well, last night I heard someone say, audio without video is radio, and video without audio is surveillance.
Well, there you go.
So, I mean, and it's not to say at all that audio is more important than video. I will never say that. But
Well, you just did. You just said it, Dan. I heard
I was
it.
going to say that it's just as important as video.
Sure, and it takes a team to make it happen.
Right.
You need people with
Which
you
is
to
just
make
as
that
important
happen.
as lighting, which is just as important as the catering.
Yeah, I think more than anything, it's very important to get out and network with people that, maybe not even necessarily do the same job that you do or work in the same field that you work with, but getting to know people, because you never know when you may need that person for a certain project.
Right.
It's so important to get yourself out there and to be seen and noticed.
Well, last night I went to, it's called the Engineering and Audio Recording Society, or EARS, in Chicago. And I talked to people that were cameramen. I talked to people that were hip-hop artists, producers, people that do stuff that I don't do. But I was able to learn from them, and they were able to learn from me, which is the entire point of that meeting.
Right.
And it was really nice to kind of like network up and network across.
Yeah.
And I got to meet Stevie Wonder's front of house engineer.
That's really cool.
But yeah, I mean, that guy, I looked at his discography, and it's a mile long. Like, I couldn't get to the end of his discography on my phone. I was like scrolling.
Yep.
This guy's done so many things. And he's just like this nice, smiley guy, just like Stevie. Just like, hey, everything's good.
He's smiling about everything, but he's hurting inside. There's some emotion inside. You gotta let it out. You gotta let it out on all of you. Right there at the engineering, right there, telling everybody, listen, I'm hurting inside. What?
No, that's stand-up comedy.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, that's Louis. I saw an episode of that. That's right.
Yep. No, so Alex, what's his last name?
Bueno.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah, well, he's a really cool guy. Really, crazy schedule this guy has. He lives in LA, but he flies to New York every week when they're doing Saturday Night Live, in order to shoot the digital short packages and then get them ready for air. And by the way, they shoot on a Friday most of the time. Like the script is getting ready midweek and is just being finalized. And it's never really finalized. Nothing's ever really finalized at SNL. Things are constantly being changed and put in and taken out.
And whatever you see is just like the best version of it.
Yeah, I think even Lorne Michaels has said that every Saturday we don't go on because we're ready. We go on because it's 11:30. And I think that's kind of a good mantra for anything you do is just to go out because, you have to, because that's how you progress and get better. Everything you do isn't going to appeal to everyone, but at least put yourself out there and don't be afraid if something doesn't work out, because that's what you take away from it and learn from it and make better the next time.
Yeah, that was something I was thinking about last night. When artists put out albums, they always want the album that they put out next to be the album that blows everybody's mind. And then when it's not, they kind of get shy about the whole process.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that if they just kept making albums, like if you make a second album and it's way better than your first, no one's going to remember your first album. They're only going to remember the second album that was way better.
And I don't know about you, Dan, but when I listen to music, especially music that or bands that I follow a lot, when they make a new album, I'm not listening to it, and if it's bad, I go, not listening to them anymore.
Right.
Don't like them. I don't know about you, but I'm not that way.
Right.
I'm going to support them because I'm a fan of theirs. So I'm going to support them in whatever they do.
But yeah,
it's like if Coldplay came out with a spoken word album, and no music, it's like then you got a little problem there. But even then, people would still support it because they'd be like, oh look how revolutionary this is. They didn't even include music this time. But I don't know. I just feel like it's a very collaborative process, and it's something that it's very important to be a part of a team whenever you're doing anything creative or anything really. Of course, there's always going to be points where you're working with people that don't quite jive with what you're doing, or trying to tell you what to do. In fact, again, taking away from the presentation last night, Alex said that he's been working with a 30-man crew, the same crew for the last 10 years, 15
that's really
years.
lucky. To have
And
that
so
kind of tight-knit crew for that long.
you get to know them. They're basically your family. You know, each person knows what they're supposed to do. They're talking even in the editing suite before they even know what the script is. They hear the idea of what the sketch is going to be, and they're already in the editor pulling soundtracks, pulling music that might be voiceover. The editor himself is doing like a temp voiceover for whatever the sketch may be. So they're already ahead, and so they've got this solid workflow going on where everybody is just a well-oiled machine. And that is something that's really impressive.
Yeah. I mean, if you can keep working with the same crew and kind of get to know each other's habits and like what the look, like when a director gets a certain look on his face, exactly what that means, and there doesn't have to be like a conversation about it, that's when things can really move. I mean, and Saturday Night Live, when you have that intense deadline, you can't afford to have anything else.
Can't afford it. I mean, and they've even made the deadline all the way up until the last second, because that's a show that could be. Can't think of anything else offhand that does what they do, where it's live every
news.
week. Well, in the sense that everything is I don't know. You could argue it's very similar, but in my opinion, it's not. These are guys that are going out and shooting, and he said most of the time, all of his stuff makes it to air, but occasionally there are times where it has to get cut. In which case, they're kind of bummed out about it because they spent all this time and it never gets seen. But he said mostly everything he does make it to air. He did say something that was really interesting, which was, he's been doing this for 15 years. And now, like I said, he's got a 30-man crew that he's worked with the same people for the past 10 to 15 years. And they recently got hired to do a real life, rather than all the fake commercials they do and, all the parodies that they do. They got hired, him and his crew got hired to shoot a real Jeep commercial.
Really?
And that was them going into the corporate side of things and him forgetting what that was like to have a client there telling him what they like and don't like and what they shouldn't do, whereas they're just used to going out and doing whatever they want.
Right.
And I think we've all had situations like that, or some close experience to that, where we get so wrapped up in one project that when we move on to the next, we all of a sudden, we're maybe something we didn't do a long time ago. Now that we're doing again, it's kind of like, oh, things have changed now. Things are different now.
Yeah, sometimes.
And really, who are we to talk about that? We're like 22, 23.
Right.
It's like, what the hell?
Well, I think
talking like we're 50.
Right.
We've
been
seen
doing
it all,
this for
man.
20 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
we've
no,
seen it
no.
all. Yeah.
I mean, but I think in some respect we can identify with a premise that they have going on in their life in a very real sense. We can identify with that on a small scale.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we get so invested in a project where like the blinders kind of go up, and then when you're done with it, you kind of like, well, what's next?
Right.
Kind of like post-project depression.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Well, and you have to work with a team now, especially with all the technology that's going out there and being progressed. And the technology that's coming out is making it easier for us, whether you're doing audio or video, and it's getting easier for us and more affordable. We both did a fanboy at the same time. Whoa, hell, whoa.
Fanboy for
yes.
and nor
yes.
but.
It takes a team to make it happen, but
Or yet.
On the technical end of things, I'm realizing that, a lot of the effort that we put into something in the end result may not get displayed the way that we want it to be seen or heard, for that matter. An example I'm going to make is that my brother-in-law has a TV that has the high hertz on it, the hertz rate on it.
Are we talking about TVs again?
No. We're not going to talk about TVs again. So about this TV. All right. So about this TV though. The hertz rate, a lot of filmmakers are against it because it makes your footage look like it's filmed at a higher frame rate, and it's adding additional frames, supposed to replicate additional frames to your footage.
Terrible.
And makes your footage go from cinematic to like a soap opera or like a sports broadcast type thing. Mm-hmm. And the question is that do we as the creators have to just kind of take that into our own hands and just kind of accept that, hey, maybe this is just how people are going to watch things now? Because every show that they watch is with the high hertz kicked up. And I've even mentioned it before, but I realize even when you go into any TV store that's selling these, they're all kicked up
it's
to
the
and they're not going to change it. You want to change it because you're the creator and you know what it does. Mm-hmm. The average consumer will not know, and they'll think, oh, I have to have this. So do we as the creator just go,
No.
well, let's just shoot at 48 frames per second,
No,
you know?
no.
Let's
You never stoop as low as what the consumer wants. Like there's mastering for iTunes, mastering for MP3. That's a thing that's been happening lately that I don't think should happen because vinyl's coming back.
Yeah.
And if we start like dumbing down our process to make the MP3 sound better or just sound the same, and then all of a sudden vinyl comes back, and for the last 5 years we haven't even tried to make a good product, then vinyl is going to sound terrible.
Right.
As professionals, we always want to be delivering the best product that we can.
And I mean, that's
it doesn't
where,
matter what the consumer is going to
where the
watch
4K is coming in. And although we're not broadcasting in 4K, but we are shooting in 4K, so we have the ability to provide it in the future or stream it in 4K on the web or whatever it may be. But even then, you're seeing YouTube videos show up, and I'm not saying like these are production-made videos with a full crew and everything, but you're seeing vertical video being shot. It's my biggest pet peeve.
That
vertical
and signing
video,
up for stuff.
This is my biggest pet peeve. But you see the vertical video, and it's something that gets millions of hits online, and it's just. And when I see people shoot
here
vertical
today,
video,
gone tomorrow.
no, but it's people who aren't educated in it, and it's so annoying. All you have to do is turn your hand to give yourself the horizontal aspect ratio. Our eyes are horizontal, not vertical. So do we have to do that? Do we have to kind of conform to that? And on top of that, I read an article about possibly documentaries being shot with Google Glass, and although that's just hearsay, what people are thinking, can it be done? Yes, it can be done. Can you shoot a feature with an iPhone? Sure, why not? But
I think what you're talking about are one-offs. There's not going to be. There's not.
I think that's what I'm worried about. Is it a one-off though?
It's going to be a one-off because
I don't know.
Let's say a documentary is made with Google Glass. It's probably going to be really interesting because think of that camera size. It's going to be really small. You can do a lot of things with a Google Glass camera that you can't do with like a typical ENG camera or even like a 5D.
Right.
You can go undetected in a lot of cases, and it's going to be interesting. But not everyone has access to Google Glass, nor will anyone want to do
I'm just sitting
that.
there watching the TVs with the hertz kicked up on it, and I know to us content creators, it's annoying to see that. But I'm telling you, people are watching it this way.
I know.
People are keeping their TVs in this setting.
Yeah.
So when we shoot in 24, it's adding frames, so it's even looking worse.
Not my problem.
And it's not your problem, but they're watching it that way, so it's becoming the norm. It's what they're used to seeing. Reality shows are shot in higher frame rates than 24. I mean, it's just one of those things
I think the formula is as simple as this. You make something, and if people enjoy it, then you keep making stuff. And and all that technical stuff doesn't really matter. I mean, you can get caught up in it. Like, oh my God,
that's what I'm
they're enjoying the
saying.
MP3 version. Well, okay, they like the MP3 version. So what? Keep doing what you're doing because clearly you're making something that people like. If you make something and it makes it to the TV screen, then you're fine. Keep doing it. And it doesn't, and that all that technical stuff, you're gonna be a really, really cranky old man.
I'm not gonna
Get
be
off
cranky.
my frame rate.
I'm not gonna be cranky. That's why I'm here today talking about this now. If I would have just kept it all in by the time I'm 50, I'll just be like, no, that hurts on the TV. That was shot at 15 frames per second. That's Charlie Chaplin. He doesn't deserve to be at 120. That's not how that works. If you were to see me right now, I keep shaking my hand every 2 seconds. I have a gun-shaped hand, just shaking it. So, but just to clarify, my hand isn't gun-shaped.
His whole hand is gun-shaped.
Oh, that was a maniacal laugh. But at any rate, I'm not going to make a frame rate joke there. But
oh, good.
At any rate, though, I think I do agree with the fact that we have to just keep creating content the way that we know how and let the technology decide where it wants to go, even if it's being delivered in 4K or I should say, presented in 4K, even though we're delivering in 2K.
I mean, there's still companies out there that no matter what their content is shot at, they still dump it down the tape and then they still show it on TV at 720, even if it was shot in 4K. And the average consumer, if you said that sentence to them, they go, "What?"
Right. They don't know, and that's what I'm saying.
Not to say that they're stupid, but that's something that they don't need to know or even care to know.
Right.
And all they need to know or want to know is the thing that I'm watching cool and am I entertained?
Right. And I guess I'll say this is I was talking to a friend of mine who has been a DP for years, a director of photography, and I said to him, I said, don't you feel like us as the creator are obligated to giving the content watcher the best possible quality, picture quality that we can deliver? And his response was, no. We just owe it to them to give them the best story that we can in whatever means possible.
That's true.
That's true. And I think we should all just keep that in mind. And in order to do that,
Whatever means you have.
and that's hopefully a team. Hopefully you have people that can do it with you and share that same kind of idea with you and collaborate with and create something that is beyond what you thought you were going to get.
Yeah.
So, wow. I feel like that was kind of an introspective there of
Hopefully
what's to come in the future, I hope. God, I hope.
I hope too. Yeah, no. I think good job, Tim.
Good job, Dan.
Thank you.
Good job, guys. And and we'll do a real ending this time, so
Okay.
we don't have to do a fake one.
Yeah,
but,
thanks for joining us on this episode of Random Sauce. Hopefully you got a little something out of that. And
please go to randomsauce.net. That's important. .net. We do not own the other one, although I feel like now we're starting to advertise the other one.
check it out anyway.
Check it out anyway. See if
Maybe
you can
it's
get
cool.
through. We can. I don't know.
No.
Randomsauce.net, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next
to you
time.
later.
We'll talk to you later. Yeah, that's the
Think
most
about what you've
awkward
done.
ending we've ever done. Yeah.
Think about
Go think
away.
about what you've done.
you're why we cannot have nice things.
Oh, why
like
are you
randomsauce.com.
still listening? All right. Randomsauce.net, guys. See ya.